Welcome back to the channel. Today's story is called Phobia Room. Once upon a time, there was a man who hated the darkness more than anything else in life. This man's name was John Doe. He lived in a nice little house with his wife and kids. It was called the Fear Factory. The commercial showed people screaming and running away from what appeared to be some sort of monster. This looks fun, John thought to himself. I wonder if they have roller coasters. Then he drove off in his car. The drive to the hotel took about an hour and a half, but John didn't mind. As soon as he stepped inside, he heard a loud crash and turned around to see what had happened. But before he could react, a man dressed as a monster jumped out and screamed in his face. He didn't know which door to go through, so he just picked one and walked through. A doctor stood next to him with a clipboard in his hand. "Good, you're awake," the doctor said. "We found you lying on the ground in the forest." "Do you remember what happened?" John shook his head. "I don't remember anything." He had screamed, laughed, and cried during his time at the Fear Factory, but he loved every minute of it. He drove home and went straight to bed. He went out at night with his family and friends, and even went camping in the woods. He had conquered his phobia and was living his life to the fullest. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and comment below to let me know what you think. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss an upload. Until then, I'll see you in the next story. When he woke up the next morning, he felt refreshed. He had never slept so well before. He got out of bed and walked into the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw that his eyes were no longer wide with fear, but instead they were full of excitement. John smiled. He had conquered his phobia of the darkness. "All I know is that I was at the Fear Factory and then I was here." The doctor nodded. "Well, I'm glad you're okay. Just rest here for a bit and we'll monitor you." John agreed and closed his eyes. As soon as he stepped through the door, he found himself in a forest. He had no idea how he got there, but he was glad to be in his own bed. When he got there, he paid for his ticket and walked through the door. This time he wasn't scared at all. In fact, he was excited. As he walked through the factory, he laughed at all the monsters that jumped out at him. He even rode the roller coasters with the biggest drops and the fastest twists. He had a great time. He got out of bed and walked into the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw that his eyes were wide with fear. They were all amazed by his story. "I can't believe you were scared of the darkness," one of his coworkers said. "I love roller coasters." "I can't believe you were scared of that." Another coworker added, "I can't believe you actually did it. I'm scared just thinking about it." John just smiled and shrugged. "What's wrong with me?" he asked himself. Then he remembered everything that had happened at the Fear Factory. "I can't believe I was scared of that," he thought to himself. But then he started to feel something strange. He felt like he had to go back to the Fear Factory. He didn't know why, but he felt like it was calling to him. John didn't know where he was or how he got there. He started to walk down a path, but soon realized that he didn't want to be there anymore. He turned around and started to walk back the way he came. As he was walking, he heard a noise in the trees and turned around to see what it was. But before he could react, a branch fell on him and knocked him unconscious. John screamed and ran as fast as he could. He didn't know where he was going. He just kept running until he came to a stop in front of another door. He opened it and walked through without realizing that it was the exit. He was too excited about going to the theme park. He realized that he was in a small room with a single chair in the middle of it. The room was pitch black and he could hear chains dragging metal moans. John started to panic. He tried to turn on the light switch, but it didn't do anything. He tried to open the door, but it was locked. Then he noticed a sign on the wall that read, "Do not touch the red button under any circumstances." Of course, John didn't listen and immediately pressed the red button. As soon as he did, the chains dragging moans became louder. Then he heard a voice that said, "Game over." John screamed and tried to find the door in the darkness, but he couldn't find it. He started to calm down a bit and realized that the only way out of this room was to find the door in the pitch black darkness. So he started to slowly walk around the room, trying to find the door. He felt the walls with his hands, but he couldn't find anything. He sat down in the chair and closed his eyes. He thought to himself, how am I supposed to get out of here if I can't find the door? Then he heard the chains dragging again, and the voice said, time to start the game. John opened his eyes and started to look around the room again. This time he focused on the sound the chains were making. He followed the sound, and soon enough he found the door. He opened it and walked out of the room. When he got there, he checked in and headed straight for the Fear Factory. The line to get in was huge, but John didn't care. He just wanted to go inside and scream. Then he started to think about how he couldn't go because it would be dark by the time they finished work. But then he stopped thinking about it and went back to watching his TV show. His wife was very supportive of his condition because she understood how hard it was for him. But she also tried to help him overcome his condition. All he could think about was how fun it would be to go there and scream his lungs out on all the rides. But he knew his wife wouldn't let him go because it would be dark when they left work. So he decided to do something about it. When he got home, he went straight to his computer and booked a hotel room near the theme park. Then he told his wife he was going to visit his parents for the weekend and asked her to take the kids to the movies. She didn't ask any questions. She just said, okay, and kissed him goodbye. She would try to take him out in the evenings when it got dark, but he refused. He would not even go out into his garden shed when it got dark because he hated the darkness so much. He would say, I'd rather stay inside and watch TV than go outside. And his wife knew there was no point arguing with him about it, so she just let him be. Now, one day while John was watching TV, he saw a commercial for a new theme park that had just opened. The next day at work, John couldn't stop thinking about the theme park. As soon as she left, John packed a small suitcase with a change of clothes and some money. When he finally got to the front of the line, he paid for his ticket and walked through the door. When he stepped outside, he looked around to see where he was. John looked around to see where he was. He realized that he was in a hallway with many doors on either side of him. John woke up in a hospital bed with a bandage on his head. When he woke up again, he was in his own bed at home. So John got in his car and drove back to the Fear Factory. At the end of the day, John was exhausted. The next day, John went to work and told his coworkers about his experience at the Fear Factory. From that day on, John was never scared of the darkness again. The end. Thank you for listening to my story today.